LAM Fellowship offers, I feel, an unparalleled first-hand experience in parliamentary work. Fellows get to actively engage in the legislative process, draft parliamentary questions, prepare speeches for the debates, and if you're lucky, you even get to contribute to the formulation of the private member's bill. And I feel the exposure gained through this program is absolutely invaluable as it provides deep insights into how policies are formulated and enacted at the highest level.
Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of LegalWiki, your go-to source for legal education and inspiration, where we interact with the best legal professionals from the various legal industry. And in today's episode, I'm delighted and thrilled to have Ms. Vibhuti Sharma on my channel. After graduating from Chanakya National Law University, she was selected from the LAM Fellowship in the same year. As a LAM Fellow, she had the incredible opportunity to be mentored by the Member of Parliament and work full-time with the assigned MP during the parliamentary session from 2022 to 2023, spanning from the monsoon session to the end of the budget session. Her role involved providing extensive research support to the MP for their parliamentary work, including drafting parliamentary questions, preparing speeches for zero-hour debates, raising matters of public importance, and drafting private member bills. Currently, she is working as a young professional in the Ministry of Women and Child Development, and in today's episode, she will be sharing valuable insights about the LAM Fellowship, which offers an exceptional first-hand experience in lawmaking and policy making at the highest level. We will discuss the selection procedure, the work of a fellow, her fellowship experience, and how it has contributed to her career. A very warm welcome to you. I'm thrilled to have this conversation with you.
Thank you so much for that introduction, Survi, and thank you so much for having me here. I'm so excited to be a part of this conversation.
Same here. So before we delve into our discussion, I would like to express my gratitude to Vibhuti for accepting my invitation and sparing her time despite her busy schedule. I'm confident that our conversation will be immensely beneficial for those aspiring to work with politicians. With this,
Absolutely.
Yeah. So with this, let's begin our conversation with the first question.
Yeah.
So what is this LAM Fellowship? And could you provide details about its selection process, eligibility criteria, and the advantages it offers?
So the LAM Fellowship, also known as the Legislative Assistant to Member of Parliament Fellowship, is a program that provides young individuals with an opportunity to work closely with the Member of Parliament. So this fellowship aims to groom these individuals for a career in lawmaking and policy making. If we talk about eligibility, one must have completed their graduation from any subject, that doesn't matter. The selection process typically involves a statement of purpose, a policy essay, and recently they've added an extra round of online tests to assess applicants' analytical and problem-solving skills, and followed by an interview round. As for the advantages, the LAM Fellowship offers, I feel, an unparalleled first-hand experience in parliamentary work. Fellows get to actively engage in the legislative process, draft parliamentary questions, prepare speeches for the debates, and if you're lucky, you even get to contribute to the formulation of the private member's bill. And I feel the exposure gained through this program is absolutely invaluable as it provides deep insights into how policies are formulated and enacted at the highest level.
So that's amazing. So basically, you have to submit a policy essay, statement of purpose, and then there is an interview rounder, right?
This year, I think they have started an online test also where they sort of assess how understanding of how things are worked out and your analytical skills and how quick you are with those things. And then there's an interview round. Yeah.
Correct. So again, that's a rigorous process, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So who decides that under which MP you will be working?
I think that's like a very random process that, like, as they say, like when once you're selected, you are going through, they train you for like a month and they basically give you different workshops for different subjects on, because since the people are there from like very diverse backgrounds, so they give you a basic understanding of each subject, like law, economics, and budget, so everything. So like they train each individual accordingly, and
Okay.
like they give
After
you a lot
that,
of
is
assignments.
allotted. Yeah.
Yeah, they give you a lot of assignments, and they basically just like they prepare you for the worst that can come your way. So yeah.
During this process, do they provide any stipend to you?
A stipend of 20K is provided to people, which I feel some might feel is not enough if you're, especially if you're like a student from outside Delhi. But yeah, that's the
Okay,
thing.
because you have to manage your accommodation also. That's the
Absolutely, absolutely. So like they should like definitely consider increasing stipend a little bit, and we have talked about it, but it is what it is.
yeah. Okay, so as you have mentioned that there is an interview procedure also. So what type of
Yeah.
questions were asked during your LAM fellowship internship and how did you prepare for it?
During my LM fellowship interview, I faced like a wide range of questions covering diverse topics. So they revolved around current affairs, constitutional law, and other policy related issues. Most of them were from my policy essay that I'd written for LAM. So I prepared by staying updated with the latest news, reading about recent parliamentary debates, and familiarizing myself with the significant legislations that they were coming up. Additionally, they asked questions related to policy matters, and basically they seek how well you understand those matters, and what are your problem solving skills on those contextual world related issues. And I feel for aspirants, I'd recommend focusing on subjects like Indian Constitution, major policy initiatives, socio-economic challenges, and like recent developments in the political landscape. And I feel a thorough understanding of MPs' work and issues that they're passionate about can also be beneficial. Yeah,
So before applying, you need to be very thorough of whatever is going on in and out regarding this particular parliament worker.
basically, yes.
So as per you, what do you think? Who should apply for this LAM fellowship?
I feel anybody who is really passionate about policy or parliamentary work, or just like they want to expand their knowledge of the policy issues, should definitely give it an apply. They don't have a restriction on the subject that you've been studying, so I think that's a great plus. And I feel it's really suitable for young graduates who are enthusiastic just to learn about the legislative process, and individuals who are passionate about making a positive impact on the society through policy making, and also who are like willing to work diligently through MP. I think they should definitely consider applying.
Correct. So moving on, can you describe your overall experience as a LAM fellow and how it has helped you in your career growth?
My experience as a LAM fellow has been truly transformative, to say the least. Working alongside an MP and actively participating in the legislative process was invaluable, and I learned how to conduct in-depth research of parliamentary questions and engage in debates. So basically, this fellowship provided me a practical understanding of how laws are made and the challenges that are involved in policy making process. And if nothing, I think this makes you a more aware citizen, to say the least. And the exposure I gained during the fellowship has significantly shaped my career path. It has solidified my passion for public policy and governance and various issues, and has opened a lot of avenues for the professional growth. So, I also feel that as a result of the fellowship experience, I was able to secure my current role as a young professional in the Ministry of Women and Child Development, where I feel I can actively contribute to the policy formulation in a subject area that I am deeply passionate about. Yeah.
Nice. So do you guys sign any agreement sort of that you're not supposed to disclose anything? Or
No, that's like generally expected that you don't
okay, but you don't sign
expose.
agreement, but it is
When you're working with a member of parliament, and like your friends are also working with the member of parliaments across party lines, and you are basically a privy to their conversations, to party conversations. You know certain things that are going to be happen. They're going to be happening in the parliament tomorrow, and then you know it today. So
okay.
yeah, I mean, like there's a certain level of self-control and resistance like you also need to have within yourself if you're entering this kind of space, because like MPs are talking in front of you. So like
So after completing the LAM fellowship, what career opportunities are available? From your perspective, was the fellowship truly worth it?
I feel completing the LAM fellowship opens up a wide range of career opportunities for the fellows, like so much so that like one might get confused at what you want to do. So many of my fellow LAMP alumni have continued to work with their MPs, like who they were initially assigned to,
Okay.
or political parties, think tanks, and various research organizations. Some have also chosen path in advocacy, public policy research, and government roles in like various levels. As for whether the fellowship was truly worth it, I can confidently say that it was an incredibly valuable experience for me. The exposure, knowledge, and the skills acquired during the fellowship, I feel, are unmatched. And I feel one of the most valuable aspects of fellowship, which is like lesser talked about, is a strong emphasis on the peer-to-peer learning and support. So, as LAM fellows, we were a part of diverse and dynamic cohort, each bringing their unique perspectives, skills, and experiences on the table. So, this created a enriching learning environment where we could collaborate, exchange ideas, and learn from one another. And I feel, in the addition to the peer support within the cohort, we also received guidance and mentorship from experienced professionals and policymakers throughout the fellowship. We were each assigned a mentor who would talk to us about what our problems are and how to like deal with them, both personal and professional. So I think that played a pivotal role in shaping our understanding of legislative processes and also the nuances of policy making and life in general.
Correct. That's really amazing. So, as a LAM fellow, what type of work were you expected to perform? Because again, after graduation, you applied, right, immediately, and you might not be having very much experience, but yeah, they have trained you, but still. And adding to this, especially when the parliament is not in session, then what are you supposed to do?
So like I mentioned before that there were specially curated workshop sessions for us. There was a training session for us before we were sent to the MP offices. So during that time, they sort of familiarized us with the different bills that were coming up in the session. And they just like gave us a brief of all the things that will be taken up in the parliament so that we are prepared. Okay, this is going to come up. And like we had already then given us pre-readings of those bills, of those discussions that we'd be expecting. They also conducted lots of debates in class, and they made sure that everybody like kept their ideology out of the door when they entered, because you don't have a say in who you are going to be allotted, right? So we were engaged in debates so that one, and like you could be assigned any party, you could be the government, you could be the opposition, so that the person learns to think from both the perspectives.
Yeah.
Once assigned, like we were supposed, the main role was to assist with the parliamentary job. So your typical day to day 0 hours, question hours, uh, the motions, the important motions that that can be taken up in the parliament. And outside of the parliamentary sessions, also our work as LAM fellows continued in various ways. So we focused basically on conducting in-depth research on policy matters and drafted policy briefs for the MPs. And this involved analyzing data, studying relevant reports, and proposing evidence-based research policy recommendations, because a lot of MPs are also in the standing committees of Parliament, which discusses these bills and legislations when Parliament is not effectively in sessions. And additionally, we also undertook consequency visits to gain insight to the ground realities and understood the needs and as aspirations of the people as such. And these visits have played a crucial role in bridging the gaps between policy making and then policy implementation at the grassroots levels. And furthermore, there were also lots of seminars, workshops, and conferences to enhance our knowledge and expertise in various subject areas. So there was a continuous learning and self-improvement programs, and it was an integral part of our journey as a LAM fellow. Also, like there were different mixers that different members would host. So say my member of parliament would host a session, and I'll invite my cohort to his place, and there'd be a mixer, and then we'd all discuss things across party lines in a relatively informal setting. So that was really fun.
That's amazing. I think whatever we have studied in our constitution, you're just having that practical experience, and it might give in you a very good feeling, actually, what I think.
Yeah, it has. It totally has. I mean, it has been nothing short of a dream to be a part and to be privy of all those conversations. It's like
Correct.
deeply inside. Yeah.
So now moving on to my next question. So we are curious to hear about your journey from being a LAM fellow to becoming a young professional in a Ministry of Women and Child Development. How did one experience led to the another?
During my fellowship, I had the opportunity to work on women and child related issues, which deepened my interest in the field. In fact, my policy essay when I was applying for LAMP was also on a bill, particularly which the Ministry of Women and Child had bought in that year. So, like, it's a full circle moment for me. But I feel the exposure that I gained during the fellowship played a crucial role in shaping this career trajectory.
Okay.
But before applying to the ministry, I'd also explored several other opportunities after completing the fellowship. But when I came across this position, the position of YP, I felt that this aligned perfectly with my interest and it was tailor made for me. So, and I got selected also. So I consider myself fortunate to have been selected for this role in the ministry. So,
So
yeah.
is it difficult to get after something you have LAM fellowship, or it's easy, or it's a matter of luck?
I think it depends also on the fact whether you know what you want, because if you know what you want, then you will, during the time of your fellowship, you will work towards that. But I feel the fellowship offers you so many things that it gets confusing for some people. For, like, example, me, I got a little confused as to what way I wanted to go. I also feel that as a lawyer, I also had the option of going back to litigation, or preparing for judiciary or other things. So I feel once you are set in your head, okay, I want to continue in the policy space only, there's no dearth of opportunities in the policy space per se if you want to continue. The other factor is also which place or which space or what is your need within the policy space also. That's also important. So that was also one of the considerations, because for me, I thought that I would want to go to legal policies, or there are people who want to say go to road safety initiatives and public policy advocacy in general. So I think it gets easier once you know where you want to head, because it definitely gives you a opportunity and a jump start.
So moving on to my last question, what advice would you give to students who aspire to pursue a similar path and those who just started with their LAM fellowship program?
To aspiring students, I'd say be proactive and seize every opportunity that you get to learn during the fellowship. And engage with your assigned MP, be curious, take on responsibilities with enthusiasm. And I feel the more you invest in the experience, the more you will gain from it. And for those who have just started, make the most of your time, build meaningful connections, and keep exploring various aspects of public policy and governance to find your niche. And don't be afraid to switch. I mean, you might like one thing, but like you realize as you progress that okay, that is better. So I just say that do your best until you know better, and when you know better, do better.
So one more thing. So this
Yeah.
LAM fellowship is for 1 year, right? But in middle
Yeah.
of it, if I feel like I won't be able to do this, can I end it in the middle?
I mean, people have done that technically.
Is there
So yeah.
any repercussion to this?
I don't know. I don't think there is, except like, I mean, if you feel that there's something better has come up for your way, then all the best. You do you. Like I said, I mean, do your best until you know better.
So in the middle
So,
of this LAM fellowship, you can just leave and go.
I mean, ideally, you shouldn't do that. But yes, I mean, if something has come up and if you feel that, this is something that is not aligning with you and you've found something better for yourself, then I'm sure, why not?
So thank you so much, Vibhuti, for sharing all this. And thank you for sharing this invaluable insights, knowledge, and experience with us. It was just a wonderful conversation with you. I hope the insights you have given would be beneficial for all those who are planning to enter or work with politicians. Sir.
Thank you so much for having me, and I really hope our discussions inspires other people to pursue their passion for policy making and public service, and hopefully they also find their place in the system.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Sophie, for